There's been a slight change. Our reading is not what's in the order of service. It is instead What Happens When We Stop Living by Nathan C. Walker. The question is not, what happens when we die? Nobody really knows. The real question is, what happens when we stop living? The stoicism we face on a daily basis is a symptom of a larger illness called a dually dulled life. Our lives can be hypnotized by the monotonous commutes, multiplied by the flickering fluorescent light that falls on the micromanaging boss who thinks everything you do in your cubicle is an extension of his or her power. Who here is dying a slow and numbing death? There's no time to be lulled by monotony. There is no time to be blaming other people for our feelings. If you don't like it, change it. There's no time for crying or complaining or gossiping or clinging to that fashionable grudge bag. No, it's time to wake up, to rise up, and to carry ourselves into a day worth living. Let us live one day, this day, with passion and a sense of collective synergy. Let us live one day, this day, by asking questions that truly challenge us and make us feel alive. For today's question is not, what happens when we die? It is instead, what happens when we stop living?
We had an apartment in the city, me and Loretta like living there. It'd been years since the kids have grown, a life of their own, left us alone. John and Linda live in Omaha. Joe is somewhere on the road. We lost Davy in the Korean War. I still don't know what for. Don't matter anymore. You know that old trees just grow stronger. Old rivers grow wilder every day. Old people just grow lonesome, waiting for someone to say, hello in there, hello. Me and Loretta, we don't talk much more. She sits and stares through the back door screen. All the news just repeats itself like some forgotten dream that we both seen. Someday I'll go and call up Rudy. We worked together at the factory. What'll I say when he asks what's new? Nothing, what's with you? Nothing much to do. You know that old trees just grow stronger. Old rivers grow wilder every day. Old people just grow lonesome, waiting for someone to say, hello in there, hello. So if you're walking down the street sometime, spot some hollow ancient eyes, please don't just pass them by and stare as if you didn't care. Say hello in there, hello. Words of meditation are by Andrew Pakula. And there'll be a moment of silence after I read it, ended by the ringing of the gong. We arrive together here, travelers on life's journey, seekers of meaning, of love, of healing, of justice, of truth. The journey is long, and joy and woe accompany us at every step. None is born that does not die. None feels pleasure that does not also feel pain. The tear that has not yet dried on the cheek, but the lips curve sweetly in a smile.
The words of reflection are by Elizabeth Tarbox. We do not live too far in the past or the future. Live now. In each moment, expect a miracle. 10 kinds of birds at the feeder, and the tracks of a fox in the snow. Pick up a magnifying glass and scrutinize that crocus. See the pollen at the center of the daffodil, life's dust. Death-defying life. Be astonished at the flower, arrested by its beauty. Run naked through the garden early in the morning and hope that wild geese will fly by. Get silly. Laugh loudly with your grandchildren or your grandparents. Refuse to leave the dead behind, but bring their memory to all your chores and games and corners of quiet, warm tears. Know always that joy and sorrow are woven together. One cannot be without the other. If you love, know that sometimes your love will bring you tears. If you grieve, know it is because at some time you were willing to love. Do not be afraid to die today, but expect life.
Somebody asked me last Sunday about my service today, and I jokingly said I could hardly wait to see what I had to say. And as Leslie can attest, I was still messing with this last night about 5 or 6 o'clock, and I'm still not sure if it is complete and ready, but so I wrote down, so sit back, relax, and we'll see what I have to say. It's probably true of most of you. I find these times can be depressing, stressful, frustrating, scary, and in some cases, unbelievable. And that can be just getting out of bed. Once we get out of bed, things really get complicated. I'm going to split what I'm saying this morning into 2 parts. One, I guess I like to think a little on the lighter side, and the other a little more in tune with what I said my service is going to be about, growing old gracefully. One morning last summer, when Leslie and I were sitting on our deck in Maine having our cup of coffee, she said, "I've got to stop listening to the news. It's too depressing." And this led to a discussion about changes that have occurred in our life and things that are so different today. And those changes have made our life, it made us having to cope with things that were so different and are difficult. And I'm not just referring to the political state. So the first part I'm going to talk about, and being an older person, I'm like so many, dealing with the tech world. So the first part of this is I'm going to be talking about the tech world and things that are happening. And I, as well as I like to think I was prepared for this service this morning, I went off and left my phone And as I put it, as I hold up my phone, the advent of this devilish device, in my estimation, has created a monster. We, and I dare say most of you, lean on this phone throughout the day. I get up of a morning, and the first thing I usually do, besides other things that are necessary, I check the weather. Now, I had checked the weather the night before, and I knew what it was going to be, but I had to take another peek. I even turned off our security system with it, even though I could walk 20 feet and push the buttons and turn it off. Want to go shopping downtown Pensacola? You don't have to take change. It would be totally useless. You have an app on your iPhone. When you fly, which I'm going to do Tuesday, you don't print out a boarding pass. When you check in, they will forward the boarding pass to your phone. So I said it was almost embarrassing to be in line to get on the plane and you have a boarding pass, a paper one. Everybody else comes up and puts their, and then you have to make sure your phone is charged. Because if you have only the app on your phone and the battery runs down, I'm not sure what you do. Communication. Again, I think it affects we older folks more than the younger folk. Email, texting, tweeting, Instagram, Facebook, it goes on. And it seems like it's no longer cool to pick up your phone and call. I watched my granddaughter one day. She was going to be in touch with one of her friends. And she's looking for her phone. And I said, why don't you, that was still when they had a house phone. I said, why don't you just pick up the phone and call her? She looked at me like I had said a bad word. And for heaven's sakes, don't write a note or a letter to anybody. It's not cool anymore. You got to send those through the snail mail when you can pick up your phone and have an instant communication. I told my 4 kids, my 9 grandkids, when texting became a big thing 5-6 years ago, whenever it was, it seems like a long time. I said, do not expect me to participate in texting. I want you to know this up front. I even have my own emoji that I have that I can send texts with. We spent some time this past summer with one of Leslie's sons and her 2 grandsons. And Kevin, the older one, had this phone that he started telling us all the things that this phone did. He even told time, I think. But it sent all of your vital information to whatever device you wanted it to. Your computer, your iPad. I don't want to go there. In Friday's newspaper, in the comics section, which is the primary place I look, it's the least depressing. In Dagwood and Blondie, Dagwood is sitting there with his phone, and being spoken to him are these words: "My name is Frankie, and I'm the senior advisor at tech support." He says, "I'm more than happy to assist you with your computer problems. I gotta warn you though, my mom's picking me up in a few minutes. Go take me to the skateboard park." Computers. I won't get into all of the different aspects of computers, but I think computers are one of the more difficult areas that we aging people have to deal with. Most companies, and I think financial institutions, especially banks, they don't want you doing anything except going online to doing all of your banking. Department stores, same thing. And now even grocery stores, you text in your grocery list and they will either have them ready for you when you go to pick them up or they deliver them. So it's got to the place where if you don't have a computer or an iPhone, you're kind of out of touch with everything that's going on. Scams are a big issue for we elderly folk especially. We're not as comfortable on computers or iPads or whatever as our younger generations are. A friend of mine was telling me the other day that she needed repair on one of her on a computer, and she had gone online and called up what she thought was the service phone for this company, and got a phone number. She called. I said, "Yeah, I can help you. Yeah, but I need to get into your computer to fix it. And you go to this website and you plug this in and you sign this. You check that you agree to let me do this." She thought she was on the real website, and she did. And the next thing she knew, she could see her files disappearing. And ultimately, I think the person had downloaded through Amazon 3 gift cards. She managed to shut her computer off, and fortunately, which is not always the case, because once somebody gets into your computer, they're there. And there's very limited things that can be done to get your computer back. I don't have a suggestion other than to make sure that you are, as much as you can, get on official websites. I think in this case, she had simply went into Google and put on one of the service people for this particular company. And as you know, when you put in anything, you get a whole display of responses. So she had simply dialed one she thought was official. Emails are another big problem with senior citizens. We get an email and you're tempted just to touch it. And once you touch it, you've committed. We get told time and time again, the IRS, Social Security, your banking institutions do not email and say, "We need more information from you." They will write you. So I will suggest this: if you get an email that you do not recognize, do not open it. Simply delete it. Okay, I'm going to switch over to something else here. As I'm approaching rapidly my 80th birthday, the knowledge of that milestone is it's not always in my mind, but it is certainly there dangling. It's whatever. I hadn't thought of myself necessarily as getting old. There's been a lot of signs. I had gray hair when I was 30 years old. When my hair started thinning, so my hair's thinning. When my knees started giving me problems, well, I played a lot of tennis. I used to run all the time. It had nothing to do with my getting old. And I use the word rapidly. I remember, as most of you probably do, having been told, especially by my grandmother, when I was saying, gosh, I wish Christmas would hurry up and get here, or some holiday or event, she'd say, Bob, don't wish your life away. As you get older, time is going to really speed up. Well, Leslie and I joke about it's always Thursday. Thursday happens to be the day we set out our garbage for pickup on Friday morning, but it's always there. It is always Thursday. It's mind-boggling, and it's like, do they have more than one Thursday in a week now, or what's with this? My memory is not as quick as it used to be. Some of the food I eat doesn't always agree with me. In fact, most of it. I would never win on Jeopardy, not because I don't know some of the answers, but I could never get that clicker done or find the files in my mental file cabinets in time. Growing old isn't just for us old people, it's for all of us. We're all growing old, and as someone has said, growing old is not so bad when you consider the alternative. A 90-year-old man was asked what he felt like when he woke up in the morning. He said, surprised. There's always a lot of jokes about growing old, a lot of the what-if jokes. You know you're old if going out is good, coming home is better. You look forward to a dull evening. And boy, I can relate to this one. You have 3 sizes of clothes in your closet, 2 of which you will never wear. You sit in a rocking chair and you can't get it going. Your knees buckle and your belt won't. And this one, I know that there's several people sitting here in front of me. Everybody whispers. We have trouble hearing. But age happens, and since it's coming and there's no avoiding it, what can we do? How do we prepare ourselves for the onslaught of old age? Having a sense of humor is a good place to start. I found this story on the internet, which I'd like to share. By the way, for those of you that have a really good memory, part of this I delivered about 6 years ago. So if you remember it, great. I'm glad your memory is still there. This is the story I found. One of the most disturbing aspects of aging is my growing inability to recall important information, like the Greek alphabet, the gross national product of Lebanon, or where I left my glasses. This becomes particularly pronounced when I go upstairs to get something. Halfway up, I realize I have no inkling of what I was going up the stairs for. So, should I go back downstairs and try to remember what it was? Or should I continue upstairs and look around and see if it rung a bell? Unable to decide, I resort to sitting on the landing, only to discover that after 3 minutes, I've completely forgotten whether I was originally upstairs going down or downstairs going up. I'm not sure that's a way to define growing old, but it does make a suggestion that is that older people who enjoy a sense of humor get along far better than those who don't. So back to this unavoidable process. How do we cope? Growing old is inevitable. It's an inevitable process that begins at birth. The question is, how do we deal with it? How do we cope? How do we grow old gracefully? As the little girl said to her grandfather, "Granddaddy, I hope you stay alive all your life." I want to offer a few suggestions to stay alive. I'm going to have to cut this short. Don't procrastinate. As we grow older, especially as we retire, it's like, well, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to. We're retired. We can sit around. We can just not do anything. Keeping a positive attitude, and don't use age as an excuse. Whatever life brings, our attitude determines how we deal with it and how the outcome. It also determines how we relate to our friends and family. It also determines how they relate to us. I used one description, which is kind of nasty, but I'm going to use it anyway. We all know somebody, when you ask them how they are, they tell you. In absolute every detail. That doesn't mean we shouldn't share their troubles. It's like the song says, "Lean on me. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on." But you can share your feelings and concern without coming across as Eeyore. Carried to the extreme, some people fall into the trap of feeling that they've reached their age. They have a right to be short-tempered. Don't use age as an excuse. There is no exclusive membership in the human family. This is an inclusive club of which we remain a member until we die. Don't use an excuse for being less capable. We know that energy wanes with age. And there's a myth that says when we grow old, we automatically become less capable and useful. But we know that isn't true. Carl Sandburg wrote Remembrance Rock at 70. Benjamin Franklin invented bifocals when he was 78. Grandma Moses was painting at 100. Pablo Picasso was drawing at 90. Bob Ortiz was in an opera La Boheme at, wait a minute, it's not supposed to be in there. I can look at my own family, and my grandmother was still piecing quilts and knitting until she died at 93. My mother was still crocheting and painting. She became Grandma Moses when she was in her 80s. So my point is, don't use growing old as an excuse for not being capable and useful and taking chances. Everything, I'm not going to say everything that's productive, I should say, in my life, aside from working, didn't happen until 12 years ago. And since from 12 years ago, I've went to teach in China. I've been in 12 operas in the opera chorus. This is my 28th time to stand at a pulpit in those 10 years. And several other things that go on and on. So I know it can be done. I know you have to push. Don't be afraid to say yes. Don't be afraid to take a chance. Don't be content to do nothing. We get content too. We don't have to, again, like the procrastination, we get content. We don't feel like there's anything we need. Always know what time it is. A lot of us, I admit I'm guilty of this a lot. You think about, you talk about, you bring up things that happened in your past, and they become very important in your life, in your world. To keep yourself in the glowing memories of yesterday and burying yourself in dark regrets, either one robs you of life now. So I say to you, as much as you are willing and able, to stay focused, stay active, and be thankful for this wonderful gift called life. The way you live your life is a gift to those who come after. Make it a fantastic one. It's the dream, afraid of breaking, that never learns to dance. It's the dream, afraid of waking, that never takes a chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give. And the soul afraid of dying, that never learns to live. So be it, and amen. Stand as you're willing and able for the closing hymn, number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Love will guide us, deep inside us, close beside us, to live the way on the road of deep to giving. Love will guide us through the dark night. If you can. Our closing words are from Barbara Cheatham. Before we gather here again, may each of us bring happiness into another's life. May we each be surprised by the gifts that surround us. May each of us be enlivened by constant curiosity. May we remain together in spirit till the hour we meet again. Go now in peace. Thank you. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Lots of wisdom.
I didn't
in
know
there.
what I was going to say, huh?
Well,
This is an easy group.
Yeah. Well, and they identify also. A lot of us identify with what you're saying. My 80th birthday is coming up too.
Really?
July 13th.
You're older